Sure. It seems like every year there's a new poker book that's coming out that kind of takes the community by storm. Everybody's excited about it, and this year was definitely The Pursuit of Poker by Lance Bradley. D&B Publishing's been putting out good books. Last year was Poker Brat, so yeah, it's a good book. I actually read it, did a review for PokerNews. It's up on PokerNews.com now, and what it is Lance Bradley, who's a veteran of the poker world, interviewed 50 different players and asked them about success in general, what their definition of it is, how they pursue it, how they know they've achieved it, things like that. And so it's a great poker book in that it's going to remain timeless. Success is a timeless topic, and it's not like a strategy book that might become outdated. There's definitely a lot of gems in there, and I was happy to review it, and it was a positive review because the book's just that good.
So I was looking for some other way to tell the story of poker players. I mean, that's what I do better than writing strategy stuff is I'm a storyteller. And so I wanted to get into the stories of success of these players and what allowed them to go from learning the game, which we've all been in the spot of, to being at the pinnacle of it now. The biggest part for me was just lining up all the interviews. I mean, I've got pretty good relationships with most of them, but it was a matter of getting on the phone and setting up a time. There's time zones at work. Tournament schedules can be a mess. I mean, a couple of times someone's like, hey, as long as I don't make the final table of this thing, we're going to do the interview. And sure enough, following the updates, they make the final table. Happened 3-4 times at least. So working through some of that stuff was part of the fun. I mean, getting up in the morning and, okay, I've got 4 interviews. Oh no, I have 3 interviews to do. So it was a little bit different than like my normal day-to-day stuff where I'm interviewing people who are winning a tournament today or doing really well right now. So it was certainly a little bit more work involved in lining up the interviews and getting everybody sort of to set up like an hour of people's time is a lot of time these days. So I'm super grateful that everybody was cooperative. I contacted 51 players and 50 said yes. I had one person who was like, I don't like the idea of success, how you're defining it. And I said, well, I didn't define it, but go ahead. So they walked away, and number 51 on the list got in, and I'm super happy with the 50. I mean, it's a great list of players. I'll take it. I booked a lot of interviews like back to back to back, just so I could get in the zone of interviewing players, and then at the end of the day, I could sit back and transcribe. So I had Nick Schulman booked for, let's say, 2 p.m. interview. And at about 11 o'clock that morning, he emailed me and said, can we do 2:30? And I said, I've got a 3 o'clock and I've got a 1 o'clock. Like I don't have any time to change it. I'm really sorry. He's like, okay, no problem. We'll figure it out. So 2 o'clock, the phone rings. We're 20 minutes into the interview. And he's like, hey, Lance, hold on a minute. And I hear him put the phone down. And then I hear blades of grass move. And he picks it up, and he was mid-answer when he put the phone down. He picks up the answer and keeps going. And I was like, wait, Nick, are you golfing? He's like, yeah, I'm just on the course with my buddies. It was my turn to shoot. And he did it a couple other times where he's like, I got to make this putt. And so I'm sitting there like dead air waiting, and he makes the putt and comes back, picks up again. Like, Nick Schulman was just the greatest in everything he does, including apparently phone interviews.
Just like you said, there's so many strategy books out there. There's so many things. This is really what's in the mind of players and why they're pursuing poker. And there are just so many different answers. Obviously, there's the easy ones of money, but there really are other answers like freedom or, looking at yourself, really trying to succeed and, loving something that you now can do for a living. And all of these different answers really come together. And honestly, when I first saw this book, I love the concept because a lot of what I do for my radio show, that's what I ask. I ask them, so why are you doing this? It's not only about the money. It's because I like the freedom. I love the game. I've interviewed a bunch of people that it's not about poker. It's about the learning. And I think that there's a lot of different topics. But then also what I think Lance did a really good job about is that he also looked at a lot of different players and generations of players, all the way from Eric Seidel to Justin Bonomo to Maria Ho to Danielle Anderson. Not just the male perspective, but the female perspective, the old generation, the new guard. And I think that was really smart of him to really span all generations and really make sure that we understood what everyone's thought process was.